Hello lovely friends, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. Yeah, long time no speak. Well, it feels like a long time for me, and sort of as I predicted back at the beginning of March, I can't get my words out. I did say that I didn't know how the next few weeks were going to pan out, and how many videos there would be, etc, etc. There were a few that I'd already filmed that you've seen, great, but I just haven't been able to, partly time but also partly not wanting to get the camera out. Yeah, it's been an odd time. I'm not going to dwell too much on Auntie Teapot's death. I do want to say thank you. As you can see behind me, some lovely cards, and can you see the sort of poster behind? My sister had it made for me. It's in the shape of a teapot. Can you make that out? But it's all made up with words, the kind of words I use to describe her, or we use to describe her. Gorgeous. So yes, I would say that my life most of the time is like, you know, that circus act where the plates get spun on poles, and you know, you get to the end of the row to spin, and you've got to go right back to the beginning of the row to spin all those again. Spin, spin, spin. That's how life for me is in general anyway. This month, a few more plates have been chucked in, and it's simply not possible to keep all the plates spinning all the time. So there have been a couple of plates that have crashed down to the floor and shattered into 100 pieces. I will get my glue out and fix them, but for instance, one of the plates that fell and broke is my needle and thread sewing. I haven't done any sewing this month, so the shop continues to be bare. Look, the bottom line is I can't do everything. It's just impossible. Even if I was by some miracle to be able to work for 24 hours a day, it still all wouldn't be possible. So the needle and thread sewing plate has smashed for now. But like I said, I'll get the glue out. I'll repair the plate. I'll get it spinning again. The garden plate has completely shattered. I haven't been to the garden since. I worked it out. I thought it was the 1st of March because I'd filmed the tour and bits and pieces. It was actually the 28th of February because that first week of March I knew was going to be busy for me. So I'd actually filmed the March tour at the end of February. So yeah, I haven't been to the garden all month. I haven't done any indoor sowings, tomatoes, celery. It all needs to be done. It will happen. I think the bottom line is I've got the funeral next week, and there's been a lot to do to organise that, and some other stuff that really needed to happen straight away. So that's taken over. That's fine. I think once we've had the funeral, then the following week, as we go into April, I can say, right, okay, let's have a big burst at the garden. You know, if my body will hold up, I'll have a really good go at the garden to try and get back on track with timings. Because I was saying this on my Facebook the other day, I did get a bit maudlin a week or so ago. Of course, it's natural. And in that time, I was like, oh, stuff planting seeds, stuff the garden. I don't need anything. I don't need... But of course I do. I do need to plant a garden this year because it's my food. I need to plant a garden this year because planting a garden is to believe in the future. I need to plant a garden this year because it's exactly what Auntie Teapot would do. So I will get back on with that. But for now, all of those things have been on hold. The plates have broken, like I said, but I will fix them and we will get back on with things again. I just wanted to have a little catch up today though, because a couple of reasons. One, mainly because so many of you have been messaging me and saying, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. I am okay. I'm just busy with stuff and quite tired, really quite tired at the moment. I don't know whether that's a bit of a side effect. I had my COVID jab. It's probably not the best time to have it because of being a bit low anyway, but you know what, I was offered, I grabbed that chance to have it, so that's done. I didn't get to the dentist in the end. I've had to move the appointment because, it's like London buses, they all come at once. My back went. The last time I was speaking to you, I was on the sofa and I was wriggling a bit and it just got worse and worse and worse. It happens from time to time. It's never a major worry. It's just a major inconvenience, and I have to just be gentle with it, do my stretches, do my yoga, let it play out, and eventually it eases and gets better. But for about 5 or 6 days, I could hardly move. The day my dental appointment was, I couldn't get down the first step outside my flat, never mind all 60, never mind walking to the dentist, couldn't do it. So I rang them and I said, let's postpone. They were all right with that, which is great. The following day, I had my jab, which meant it was quite a ways from my flat, but I got there. I did. They were so worried about me. I walked in, they're like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I've just got a bad back. I'm fine though. And like I say, then it gradually eased, thank goodness, because then I had a day when I needed to go down to my great aunt's house. I needed to get a few bits of paperwork and pop in to see the funeral directors and the florist. It's all in her little village. I'm keeping everything local to her. So yes, the back is okay again now. It's a little tiny, when you can just feel it. So it's like, don't go mad doing anything, Vivi, but keep moving, keep moving. So what else has been going on? Right, amidst all of that, and this is something we should all keep an eye on, really keep an eye on. Earlier on in the year, I had a little sofa chat, and I think I called the video my Do It Day. And I was talking about that day when you go through all your bills, whether it's annual, staff, monthly, just make sure everything is in order. And one of my annual bills is my contents insurance. We have a separate building insurance, which all the parties in the building club into. But separate from all of that, just for me, is my contents insurance. So that if ever I was burgled or, God forbid, it's my worst fear, fire, whatever it is, I'm insured. Great. I have been with the same insurance company for 17 years. I've had to make one claim in all that time when the roof failed and I was kind of flooded out from the top. But yeah, they've been great, so there's no reason for me to change. I've always been happy with the service I get, the price, what have you. And each year I have it renewed automatically. It's one of those things, renew it automatically, great. They'll send the new paperwork through. Each year it tends to go up a little bit, it might go up by 1 or 2 quid. As mentioned in some of the budgeting type videos I've made, I set aside money every month for that, so that when my renewal is due at the end of February every year, I know to transfer that sum of money from my savings account over into my current account, and that's where they take it from. Great. So first couple of days of March, I was checking my account online and the payment hadn't gone yet, but it's like, okay, that's fine, because sometimes there's a little delay. Then, of course, it was the 8th of March when I got the phone call about Auntie Teapot. So I sort of took my eye off the ball of all of my stuff and my eye went onto the ball of all of her stuff. Anyway, a couple of days ago, I thought I really need to get on with doing some of my own things. So I checked my bank account again. I thought, that payment still hasn't gone through. I'm sure it hasn't, because in my account, in that current account, there's very little money, but there's enough to make that payment. I was thinking, Anyway, so I rang them to say, you haven't taken the payment. And they were like, you don't have a policy with us. What? What? And so I got my paperwork out. I had my old policy number from last year, and I read that out. She went, oh no, that policy has lapsed because you didn't pay for it to renew. Really, really shocking. So, and I said to her, look, I've been on auto renew for the last 17 years. Why has it not automatically renewed? Anyway, she didn't know. She couldn't tell me why it hadn't happened, why it hadn't renewed automatically. Goodness only knows why after 17 years that's happened. So she said, well, would you like to take out a policy with us? I was like, would I? Yeah. It gave me the heebie-jeebies to think that I'd had no cover for 3 weeks. What if something had happened in those 3 weeks? I could have lost everything. I could have lost absolutely everything. Horrible. It really gave me a bit of a panic. And it's daft too, because actually, you know, we fixed it that day over the phone. I could get a new policy, go through all my details again, get that all set up. Phew. So yeah, note to self and to all of you as well. When you have things which renew annually, just make sure they have renewed. As we were going through the details to start a new policy, she said, oh, would you like this to renew automatically each year? And I was like, what do you think? Yes, renew it. Oh my goodness. But I will be keeping an eye out. I'll have to adjust my brain now that it's not the end of February each year, it's the end of March. But actually, even if I think it's the end of February, that's fine, because it will start to make me be looking out for it. Yeah, it's a bit naughty that. And it's naughty that they don't know why it happened. And, you know, I think in these situations, I think both parties are at fault. They're at fault for not doing what they've done for the last 17 years. I'm at fault for not checking. But if something had happened in that time, you can bet your bottom dollar that they would not pay out. They would squirm out of it, even if they were at fault somehow. I'm going to have a little rant for a second. Talking of people being at fault and not taking responsibility, I have yet again been let down by the organic gardening crapalogue. They are definitely now the crapalogue, not the catalogue. So if you remember last year, I had an absolute nightmare with them over Compostgate. I cut them a lot of slack because of COVID. However, there came a point where I had invested quite a bit of money in that compost. I'd made my order, they had my money, and it was becoming increasingly apparent that they were not going to fulfill my order. If I went to look online, you would see all their compost had sold out. They didn't have compost, yet they'd taken my money. So over the course of 12 weeks, trying to email, getting no response, trying to phone, the line's dead. All I wanted was to get my money back so that I could go and spend it with someone who would fulfill an order. So like I said, I cut them quite a bit of slack because of COVID. But on the other hand, there were zero customer services happening. I kept asking for this refund. I kept getting a generic email back saying, we are not issuing refunds. But it's like, how dare you? How dare you not give me my money back? How dare you take my money and then not give me the goods? Now, I can't remember if it was previous year or the year before that, they'd also massively messed up an order for me. Now, fortunately, it was for field beans, which I use as a green manure over the winter. So it wasn't seeds for food, thank goodness. It was the first time anything had ever gone wrong with them. I think it was the first year that they'd actually been bought out and bought by a big company. But I remember at the time trying to sort that matter out over the phone. And like I said, the customer service on that occasion was appalling. I had the most patronising person on the phone to me trying to explain how seeds work. It was really, really dreadful, really dreadful. But I kind of said to myself, well, this is the first time anything has gone wrong with them. I'd had a couple of instances previously where, you know, something was a bit late, whatever. I'd call them, this is when they were the small company, and they'd say, oh, Miss Gregory, we're so sorry, we'll rectify that straight away. Boom, within 2 days, it's rectified. Anyway, after that, it kind of, I didn't like it, but I thought, well, maybe it's just one of those, a site glitch. Maybe that person that spoke to me on the phone, that's a one-off. Maybe she was having a bad day. But you know what? If you're having a bad day and you work in customer services, you've got to park your own personal bad day somewhere else. Do not be passing it on to the customers. Anyway, so the compost was me giving them a second chance, and they blew it hugely. And like I said, not, you know, I know we had COVID going on. I know things were difficult. I would have accepted all of that if they had given me my money back. Stupidly, I decided to give them one more chance this year by ordering my onions from them. Oh. So my 2 lots of onion sets. Sorry, dribbling. My white onions, my red onions. I've always had them from the Organic Garden catalogue, so the product itself I've never had an issue with, although I have to say the bags have got smaller and smaller over the years. So the product itself I've never had an issue with. Having looked at a load of other companies this year, I've realised that they are way more expensive than everyone else. There are some things where they're 2-3 times more expensive, but never mind. I knew that in previous years the onions were good for me. I would pay that bit extra because it's a good product. I got an email a couple of weeks or so ago to say, your product has now been dispatched. And I thought, yay, great. It was literally, the email came 2 days before I got the phone call about Auntie Teapot dying. And my plan had been, I thought, yay, they're coming. They'll be here in, it said something like 5 to 7 days. I thought, brilliant. They'll arrive. The weather's not too bad. I can prep the bed this week. Both the beds this week while I wait for them to arrive. Then they arrive. The beds are ready. Boom, I'll get them in. Yay! Anyway, well, guess what? They haven't arrived. Now, at the time, in that initial week, I was completely taken up with Auntie Teapot stuff. I wasn't bothered that they weren't here because I was thinking, well, you know, give it a couple more days. Anyway, this Monday, it would be about 2.5 weeks or so since the email. So I thought, oh, they've not arrived. And in the email, it does say, give it 5 to 7 days. If you haven't received them after that date, please get in touch with us. So I thought, well, I'll get in touch with you. So I rang on Monday. I said, I've not had my onion order. It's been 2 and a bit weeks. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. We'll look into it. I'm so sorry. Yes, we'll look into this. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Next day, so yesterday, I got a phone call saying, yes, well, the drivers attempted delivery on 3 separate occasions. You weren't in. So now your order has gone back to their warehouse. You'll have to collect it from the warehouse. I was like, well, hang on a minute. I've only been out of the house twice. I had the day at my aunt's cottage, and I had that brief hour when I went out to get my jab. But apart from that, I haven't left the house. They have not attempted 3 deliveries. They've not been here. But also no card left on the doormat. Nothing to say a delivery had been attempted. Nothing. No communication whatsoever. So apparently my order is at some warehouse that belongs to the delivery company, not the Organic Gardening Crapalog, but it's in Surrey. And I said, I can't get there. I hadn't even thought, when I was on the phone with her, I was thinking, I didn't even think about lockdown. You know, we have to stay local. We're still in lockdown. I said, I can't get there. I don't drive. I don't have... It would take 4 or 5 buses. I don't know how many. It would take quite a few buses. It would probably take 2-3 hours each way. I can't be... I said, just can you ask them to deliver it? Because I'm at home all the time at the moment. Haven't been to the garden. You know, I'm at home. Just please, can't do that. You have to collect them. And I said, well, I can't. I can't get there. I said, do you know what? You're just going to have to give me a refund. I can't give you a refund. What? Well, we've attempted to deliver it. It's not our fault if you're out all the time. I was like, I'm not out all the, oh my goodness. And it started to go in circles. And I was like, this isn't good enough. Either you need to rearrange the delivery and get them to me, or you need to give me a refund. I said, you're not giving me any choice. Then this woman on the end of the phone just went off on one. Don't you shout at me. She was shouting. I had to pull the phone away. She was the one shouting. I wasn't shouting. I was expressing frustration probably, and I was probably speaking quite sternly to say, you either need to get them to me or give me a refund. That's the only two options. Don't you dare shout. She went off on one. So I let her rant. I literally let her rant. She paused for breath and I said, okay, let's start again. You're not giving me any options, and because you're not giving me any options, you need to give me a refund. I've given you the option of going to the warehouse to get them. And I said, that's not an option for me. I can't do that. You need to get... No. I said, right, well, just give me the refund, please. Just refund me my money. I will go somewhere else. I will find a supplier who wants to sell products to me and get them to me at home. You know, I've paid for delivery. I haven't paid you £5 so I can have a day trip to Surrey on God knows how many buses. Anyway, the long and the short was, she said, we can't refund you until we get the original package back from the courier service. And I said, well, why don't you, I said, when you get the original package back, why don't you send it to me? Can't do that, It was like, literally, can't do this, can't do that. Infuriating. The long and the short, later on that afternoon, I did get a partial refund. A partial. I didn't get a full refund, a partial refund. So I rang again to say, okay, you've refunded me for the cost of the onions, but you haven't refunded me the £5 delivery charge. You need to refund that too, because I'm sitting here with nothing. I'm minus £5. Oh, it's just infuriating. I tell you what it is, and I'm never ever using them again. And I know probably a lot of you have had a lot of things from them with no issues. You've probably been to other companies where some of you will have had issues and some of you won't. But for me, you know, I've given them 3 chances now. And the problem every time with these last 3 issues, I could put up with the issue itself. What I can't put up with is this appalling, total lack of customer service. They're so happy to take my money, but the minute they've got my money, they do not give a fig about me as a customer. They obviously do not care. If they cared, they would handle things, manage things better. Anyway, the bright side. Let's find the bright side, because you know what? Channeling my inner teapot, there is always a bright side. I'm going to have to refill that in a second. That brew's nice. I mentioned this on my Facebook page yesterday because after having had the phone call, I thought, right, because it really wound me up. And this is the thing about it, is it takes up time. It takes up the physical time of phoning, writing emails, doing that. But it takes up the emotional time of me being angry and also me being really, really cross with this woman who there was no need for the way she went off. It was truly, astonishingly appalling. Anyway, equanimity, Miss Vivi, equanimity. So I immediately got on to the various other organic companies that are small and that I love and that I should have stuck with. So I went to Tamar Organics, Vital Seeds, Seed Co-op. couldn't find any onions. Like, people have sold out. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? So I put a quick message on Facebook to say, does anybody know anyone that is selling onion sets still? Thank you all so much for your fantastic responses. In the end, I've gone with a different company and they're not organic. So for the first time in my growing life, I am not going to have organic onion sets. I will garden them and grow them on organically. Also, though, a number of folk have offered to send, some of them have already done it, send some of their spares, which is so amazing. And what's great is this now means I'm probably going to end up with a few spare. So there are, I can't remember how many now, 3 or 4 plots on my allotment site which were given up last year for whatever reason, you know, people moving out of London, what have you. But because of COVID and all the restrictions, we haven't been inviting, it's not us, it's the council, new people to view plots to take them on. So we've got these handful of plots which are fallow, one of them right outside my shed. And what the committee has suggested is to try and keep those plots in a good state. We're all welcome to garden little bits of them. And the idea being is we can put our sort of excess plants, seedlings, whatever, produce in those beds, grow them on, and then we can donate that food either to local food banks, or there's a church really close to the allotment gardens, and every day they do a hot meal at lunchtime. I think it started originally, it's a hot meal for homeless folk, but everybody's welcome. So anybody who needs a hot meal can go there each day in the middle of the day and get a hot meal, a bit of conversation, a bit of company. Oh, do you know what? I didn't even think. I wonder if it's still going during COVID. I'm not sure, I'll have to check. But certainly all our food banks are. So, in other words, after all that of dealing with the company with my onion sets, it looks now like I'm going to have excess, and I can grow those on and donate them to someone else who hasn't got any space to grow but would really like some onions for their cooking. You see? These things, they always work out in the end, don't they? What goes around comes around, I like to think. And pay it forward, pay it forward. Whenever we are, you know, lucky, whenever we have a moment of luck, try and pass some of that on to someone else who maybe isn't having any luck. Right, this was supposed to be a quick catch-up. I want to say some thank yous, along with all the lovely cards folk have sent. I won't show it because it's private. Jen, thank you for your lovely letter. There were a few seeds came, so Brian sent some poppies. Lovely. Not sure where they're going to go yet. And then Jackie sent me, I don't even know how it's pronounced, epizote. Never heard of it. Is it perennial or annual? It looks like it ought to be. Actually, it looks like it might be perennial. Kind of looks almost like nettle, doesn't it? But apparently, this is great when cooked with beans to help stop the windy pops from happening, rather as winter savoury does. So if you cook winter savoury in your beans, it should ameliorate that kind of gas baggy thing. So I don't know where these are going to go. I don't know what, but yeah, I will talk about this more when I come to do them. Because I mean, to be honest, I've barely looked at the packet properly. But Jackie, thank you so much. And the card, you see, I don't know if you can, let me show you closer. It's all teacups for teapot, and it's by the artist Helen. What's her surname? Helen Stewart, who Jackie sent me the book for Christmas. It's a little volume. It's sort of garden prose with her beautiful illustrations. So that's lovely. Do you remember the other week and I showed you the Oh, Vega's one of my, I've got my basket of squash sitting next to me. The, oh, it's not there now, where have I put it? The postcard with the Silco thread from Fiona. She sent me another great card. Oh, I love this. Oh, hang on, let's not have the reflections. This is from the Robert Opie collection. Robert Opie collection is brilliant. It's all this kind of graphic art from advertising through the years. This card came with something she said she was going to do ages, well, not ages ago. I'm not like kind of going, she said ages ago. What I mean is I knew this was coming at some point. And you know how much I love them. More socks. Look at that. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? I think I should call these my, it's strawberries and cream, beautiful turned heel. Gosh, you knitters are all so clever. I've never ever had the patience to do it, but yeah. Oh, I feel hot today suddenly. I'm turning pink with my pink socks and my pink top. Strawberries and cream socks, Fiona, thank you. And they're gorgeous, I could smell it straight away. One of my absolute favourite soaps. Weirdly, I haven't had any for ages, and about just a handful of days before this arrived, I'd gone to my local little health food store where I normally buy this soap, and they didn't have any. And it's really weird for me to run out of soap because I get gifted soap a lot, but I had run out. I don't know if any of you know this. Mysore sandalwood soap. Mysore from Bangalore, isn't it? Oh, I love it. Yeah. Government Soap Factory, Bangalore. Oh, I love it. It's such an unmistakable scent. I love it. So as I opened that parcel, before I even took the socks, and these were tucked inside, before I even tucked it out, I was like, oh, Mysore sandalwood soap, yay! This is a lovely little coaster, a teapot coaster. Thank you so much, Linda. I have a coaster on my desk in the kitchen where I keep, you know, it's either my cup of tea or my glass of water or whatever. And it's really tatty and really pretty manky. And I was thinking the other day, I could do with a new coaster. So look, I've got a teapot coaster. So whenever I have my cup of tea, I can think of my auntie teapot. Thank you, Linda. And then this came, but it didn't have a gift note, so I don't know who it's from. But anyone who's been watching for a while will know my kind of penchant for metal signs. I've got them on my fence and on my shed, and this one came. Oh, it's still got its plastic wrapper on, so it's reflecting. I love my garden, and my garden loves me. Happy days. Isn't that cute? That's so perfect for me. As I say, it didn't have a gift note in there. I don't know who it's from. Put your hand up. Tell me who it's from so I can thank you properly. So yeah, some really cheerful little cheer up things from the postman in the last few days. Honestly, your cards have been beautiful. Your words are beautiful. Your thoughts are beautiful. I forgot to say this right at the beginning, but one of the reasons I wanted to have a catch up today is because I'm aware that I've had a load of new subscribers recently. Hello to you all. I think a lot of folk have come over to look at what I've been saying about my sort of beyond frugal life, which is just a small part of what I do on the channel. But yeah, so suddenly all you gorgeous new folk have turned up, and then no videos, nothing. Tumbleweed, echo, nothing. So yeah, I thought I'd just quickly pop on today, although it's probably not as quick as I intended, just to reassure everybody, yes, I'm okay. Things are still my focus is very much my great aunt rather than the garden, the sewing, even making videos. All of that's very much on the back burner at the moment. Like I say, hopefully after next week, after the funeral, there's still going to be a lot to do for my great aunt, but it's all stuff I can spread it out a bit so that I can start to get back to a slightly normal schedule, however normal my schedule is, and get back to the garden, get sowing seeds, bring those videos to you. There's loads to do, can't wait. Get back on with sewing. I really need to and want to start to get absolutely full pelt at making bunting again. My idea is that throughout April and May, I'm just going to make loads, so that then by the end of May, I can launch a whole lot in the shop in time for all your summer gardens. Rather than releasing it dribs and drabs, I thought I'm going to try and do it all together, so that then you've got the choice, rather than releasing a few and they're all in sort of blues and pinks, and you think, well, I don't really like blue and pink, but I'm going to get one anyway in case it's the last, because I know that's happened before. And then a week later you see a yellow one and you think, oh, I wish I'd waited and got the yellow one. So I'll try and do it all together towards the end of May. Don't hold me to it, who knows? That's the plan anyway. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for all your lovely messages and words. Like I say, and your thoughts have been so beautiful. Hopefully, as we go into April, things will get a little bit more normal again, at least as far as what you see, what I share with you will hopefully be a bit more normal. Everything else will carry on going on, but in the background, we don't need to talk about it anymore. All right, lovelies, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say cheerio to you all for now. I don't know when I'll see you. Probably it may just be for end of month for thoughts on. Maybe we'll squeeze in some... I don't know. I'm not promising anything. I'm saying goodbye. Please look after yourselves until I next see you. Try to give yourself some quiet time, some seed sowing time, some baking time, whatever it is. Give yourself quiet time amidst all the chaos of life. You know what? If you need to let a couple of the plates stop spinning and crash to the floor, let them. You can pick them up and glue them back together again later. I will see you all again at some point. Until then, please do look after yourselves and each other. Bye for now.